Okay, good. Um, so a few things with this. The bounce stuff, it's, applying the same principles that we did before to cinema. Um, like I did in the first one, all the animating, it's really best to be working, not with the keyframes here where you select things, but switching actually to the animate view. And it's going slow. There we go. So that we can see what's going on with all the individual keyframes. Just gives you more room. You can grab right here to, I'm on the laptop now, so it's tough to, get enough space. But the big things, just like I mentioned before in the other one, if things get out of whack down here, just pressing H, and that reframes this just like it reframes the camera in 3D so that you can see what's going on. And then navigating this view is the same. Holding down 1 is going to move things left and right, and then holding down 2 and moving is going to scroll, or the uh, that's going to, there's no orbiting in this view. That doesn't make any sense. If something doesn't show up down here, it will or will not, depending on the way the defaults are set. And so you can drag things from here down here to make something show up if it's not showing up. And so the one thing I definitely wanted to screenshot for everybody was my cartoony bounce. So if I shift select all of these and hit H, you can see where mine is. And yeah, we should be able to look at these individually. And so, I ended up, this is the actual bounce for the cartoon ball, right? And so just like the cartoon ball before, it stays on the ground while it's smushing. Exact same principle. And then for the squashing, um, there's a bunch of different ways to do this, but I think the simplest way here is using the Bulge Deformer, which I automatically put on there. And so I did two things with the Bulge Deformer. I keyframed the strength, obviously, to make it smush and stretch, but then I also keyframed the position of it to control where exactly it was smushing and stretching. And so that's what you see here. And so if I get all of these together, let me just take a screenshot of this real quick, like that. I'll post this in the assignment. Um, and so you can see how that all looks together. And with the cartoon ball, I only made one, bounce and smush, and then I set them all to repeat up here. So if you look at this, I changed it from after repeat, and then you can actually see that if you zoom out, it shows you the repeating over here, um, in these ghosted lines that change if you update the other part. So yeah, repeating in Cinema 4D much simpler than in After Effects. We just sort of dial in this here. These are the adjustments for the animation track, right? So you need to have it selected here to get these repeat options, because everything we see down here is a track for that animation. Um, I ended up doing that. I had a little bit of a camera shake when the bowling ball hits the ground. And I did that in After Effects just when I was compositing. You could do it here with actually shaking the camera. Either way, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of difference in this one, depending on how you did it. Yeah, and just really making sure that you have the bowling ball looking like a heavy bounce. And I actually looked up a few animation references, on YouTube. There's a lot of people dropping bowling balls just to sort of like take a look at what that actually looks like, and so that, um, even more dramatic than that rule of fifths that I would talk about, where every successive bounce is 1/5 as tall as the first bounce, and so really it's that there's really just one bounce and then just a couple to have it look like it's hitting the ground. Um, I think that's about it for this one. Going back and forth between here and here, so there's the two views. This is um, in After Effects it's the graph editor and then the regular dope sheet view. But here we see the keys versus the F curves, and so you can switch back and forth right here by doing that. Um, Yeah, I think that was about it. I did all the camera movement stuff in After Effects, just, zooming in on the frame. Trying to think if there's anything else. That was about it for there. If I come back over here, some people were having a hard time rendering. When you render, I guess when I save it, it also saves my output path, which is not, which is where the file's being rendered. And so I want you to keep all the settings that I set up, except for this. You need to, if you go to render it and it says like, I can't render because I don't know where that is, it's because this is a path on my computer, not your computer. And so you need to click the three dots and tell Cinema 4D where to render on your computer. And so any message about output path, that's what's going on there with that. And yeah, all the materials are from the content browser, and most of the materials now work if you just drag them down, but if they don't look right when you drag them in, remember, just go ahead and use that, what was it, CV, yeah, convert to PBR. And what does PBR stand for? Anybody?